Mr. Alfred Nobel was a Swedish businessman, chemist, engineer, inventor, and philanthropist. As a child, Nobel worked at his father's arm factory. After an explosion killed his younger brother in 1864, Nobel began looking for a safer alternative to black powder, the common substance for explosive at that particular time. Initially using nitroglycerin and other unconventional substances, he eventually came up with a combination of nitroglycerin, powdered clay, and stabilizers to form his new creation, dynamite. After Nobel patented his invention in 1867, it was an immediate success due to its ability to create a safer, more controlled explosion. However, in 1888, Nobel was criticized by a French newspaper, which published a scathing article about his invention of dynamite and the violence it was capable of causing. The criticism deeply affected Nobel, making him concerned about how he might be viewed and portrayed after his death. In his last will and testament, he set aside a significant portion of his estate that would eventually be used to set up the Nobel Prizes, which should be always awarded annually to someone based on their outstanding achievements regardless of their background. Nobel's will specified that annual prizes are to be awarded for service to humanity in the field of physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace. Similarly, the Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Science in memory of Alfred Nobel is awarded along with Nobel Prizes from the year 1901. Instituted in 1901, more than 904 individuals, including 852 men and 52 women, and 24 organizations were awarded the Nobel Prize between 1901 to 2019. So friends, let me welcome with this video to show you our 6 Nobel laureates who has made our nation proud. Abhijit Banerjee is an Indian-American economist who is the Ford Foundation International Professor of Economics at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Banerjee shared the 2019 Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences with Esther Duflo and Michael Kramer for their experimental approach to alleviating global poverty. He, along with his wife Esther Duflo, are the 6th married couple to jointly win a Nobel Prize. Mr. Banerjee is the co-founder of Abdul Latif Jamil Poverty Action Lab. He is a research affiliate of Innovations for Poverty Action. Banerjee was a research associate of the National Bureau of Economic Research. He is the co-author of Poor Economics. He also serves on the Academic Advisory Board of Plaksha University. His new book, co-authored with Esther Duflo, Good Economics for Hard Times, was released in October 2019 in India. Mr. Banerjee was born in Mumbai in India to Nirmala Banerjee, a professor of economics at the Center for Studies in Social Sciences, Calcutta, and Deepak Banerjee, a Bengali professor and the head of the Department of Economics at Presidency College, Calcutta. His work focuses on development economics. Together with Esther Duflo, he has discussed field experiments as an important methodology to discover causal relationship in economics. In 2012, he shared the Gerald Loeb Award Honorable Mention for Business book with co-author Esther Duflo for their book Poor Economics. In 2019, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics together with Esther Duflo and Michael Kramer for their work alleviating global poverty. Rabindranath Tagore, a Bengali poet known by Gurudev, Kabi Guru, and Vishwakobi, was a polymath, poet, musician, and artist from Indian subcontinent. He became the first non-European to receive Nobel Prize for Literature. Gurudev was born on 7th of May 1861 in Jorashako Mansion in Calcutta. His father was Devendranath Tagore and mother was Sarda Devi. Kavi Guru Rabindranath's traditional education began in Brighton, England at a public school. I am feeling extremely privileged to say that I have visited this place. He was sent to England in the year 1878 as his father wanted him to become a barrister. In 1891, Tagore went to Shilaidaho, East Bengal, and there he stayed in a houseboat on Padma River in close contact with village folk, and his sympathy for them became the keynote of much of his writing. Rabindranath's father had bought a huge stretch of land in Shantiniketan. With an idea of establishing an experimental school in his father's property, he shifted base to Shantiniketan in the year 1901 and founded an ashram there. I am feeling extremely happy to say that I can connect to this place as my wife Debutri belongs to Shantiniketan. Gurudev believed in the concept of one world. He set out on a world tour in countries like United States, Japan, Mexico, Singapore, and Rome, where he met national leaders and important personalities including the like of Einstein and Mussolini. He settled permanently at the school which became Vishwabharati University in the year 1921. Though he had written thousands of poems, songs, short stories, etc., but the year of sadness arising from the death of his wife and two children between 1902 and 1907 are reflected in his later poetry, which was introduced to the West in Gitanjali in the year 1912. This book, containing Tagore's English prose translation of religious poems from several of his Bengali verse, including Gitanjali, was held by W.B. Yeats and Andre Gide and won him the Nobel Prize in 1913. Amartya Sen is an Indian economist and philosopher who has taught and worked in the United Kingdom and the United States since 1972. Sen has made contribution to welfare economics, social choice theory, economic and social justice, and bagged Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences in the year 1998. Amartya Sen was born in a Bengali Hindu Vaidya family in Bengal, British India, in Rabindranath Tagore University, Shantiniketan, modern-day West Bengal, India, on 3rd November 1933. Rabindranath Tagore gave Amartya Sen his name. The literal meaning is immortal. Sen's family was from Wari and Manikganj, Dhaka. His father Ashutosh Sen was professor of chemistry at Dhaka University. He moved with his family to West Bengal in the year 1945. Sen's mother Amita Sen was the daughter of Shriti Mohan Sen, the eminent Sanskrit and scholar of ancient India. Sen's work on choice of techniques complemented that of Maurice Dobb. In a developing country, the Dobb-Sen strategy relied on maximizing investable surpluses, maintaining constant real wages, and using the entire increase in labor productivity due to technological change to raise the rate of accumulation. In addition to his important work on the causes of famines, Sen's work in the field of development economics has had considerable influence in the formulation of Human Development Report published by the United Nations Development Programme. Mr. Sen has received over 90 honorary degrees from universities around the world. In the year 2019, London School of Economics announced the creation of Amartya Sen's chair in inequality studies. Have you wondered why the sky and oceans are blue? It's Sir Chandra Shekar Venkataraman who has given answer to this. The Indian physicist who carried out groundbreaking work in the field of light scattering, which earned him Nobel Prize for Physics in 1930 and was the first person in Asia to obtain this in the field of science. Chandra Shekar Venkataraman was born on November 7th, 1888 in the city of Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. Raman's father was Chandra Shekaran Ramanathan Iyer. His mother was Parvati Ammal. In the year 1904, he obtained a BA degree from University of Madras with gold medal in physics. In 1907, he completed MSc degree with highest distinction. In 1917, he was offered the Palit Chair of Physics at Calcutta University. After 15 years at Calcutta, he became professor at the Indian Institute of Science at Bangalore. He was director of Raman Institute of Research at Bangalore and founded the Indian Journal of Physics in 1926. He discovered that when light traverses a transparent material, some of the deflected light changes wavelength and amplitude. He discovered that when light interacts with a molecule, the light can donate a small amount of energy to the molecule. As a result of this, the light changes its color and the molecule vibrates. This phenomenon, subsequently known as Raman scattering, results from the Raman effect. The field of Raman spectroscopy came to be based on this phenomenon, and Ernst Rutherford referred this to Royal Society London in 1929. In the year 1954, the Indian government honored him with India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. Mary Teresa Bozzio, commonly known as Mother Teresa and honored in Catholic Church as Saint Teresa of Calcutta. She was an Albanian Indian Roman Catholic nun and missionary. She was born in Skopje, North Macedonia. After living in Skopje for 18 years, she moved to Ireland and then to India, where she lived the most of her life. Teresa received a number of honors, including the 1962 Ramon Magsaysay Peace Prize and 1979 Nobel Peace Prize. She was canonized on 4th September 2016. In the year 1950, Teresa founded the Missionaries of Charity that had over 4,500 nuns and was active in 133 countries in 2012. This NGO manages homes for people who are dying of HIV/AIDS, leprosy, and tuberculosis. It also runs soup kitchens, dispensaries, mobile clinics, children's and family counseling programs, as well as orphanage and schools. On 10 September 1946, Teresa experienced what she later described as the call within the call when she travelled by train to Loreto Convent in Darjeeling from Calcutta for her annual retreat. She began missionary work with the poor in 1948, replacing her traditional Loreto habit with a simple white cotton sari with a blue border. Teresa adopted Indian citizenship spent several months in Patna to receive basic medical training at Holy Family Hospital, and ventured into the slums. She founded a school in Motijhil, Kolkata, before she began tending to poor and hungry. She was fluent in 5 languages: Bengali, Albanian, Serbian, English, and Hindi. Teresa said, "By blood I am Albanian, by citizenship an Indian, by faith I am a Catholic nun. As to my calling, I belong to the world. As to my heart, I belong entirely to the heart of Jesus." Sir Rona Ross was a British medical doctor who received the Nobel Prize for Medicine in the year 1902 for his work on transmission of malaria. He is the first British Nobel laureate and the first born outside Europe. He was a polymath, writing a number of poems, published several novels, and composed songs. He was also an amateur artist and natural mathematician. Rona Ross was born in Almora, India. His father was Campbell Grant Ross, general in British Indian Army, and mother was Matilda Charlotte Elderton. In September 1897, Ross was transferred to Bombay, and he was frustrated for lack of work, and he threatened to resign from service. The government arranged his work in Calcutta on a special duty. On 17 February 1898, he arrived in Calcutta to work in the Presidency General Hospital. He immediately carried out research in malaria and Kala Jor, for which he was assigned. Rona Ross was awarded Nobel Prize for his discovery of the life cycle of malarial parasites in birds. He did not build his concept of malarial transmission in humans, but in birds. Ross was the first to show that malarial parasite was transmitted by the bite of infected mosquitoes. Rona Ross was known to be self-centric and egocentric, and described as an impulsive man. Ross was frequently embittered by lack of government support for scientists in medical research. In spite of all controversies, Sir Rona Ross is one of the 23rd names to feature on the frieze of London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, pioneers chosen for their contribution to public health.